The Robert Stewart. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, you guys.
Hi. Do we have anyone in the room?
We don't. It's just Rob so far.
And James.
Oh, and James.
I hope James is a Packer fan. How's Robert today?
Hey, I'm doing well, thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, welcome to our CMA class that we put on once a month. What brought you here today, Robert?
I've been in real estate for 16 years, and it's about time I learned how to do a CMA.
And do you think you don't have that down?
I think it's something that could be improved. I've noticed over the last couple of years, I've lost a deal or two because my pricing wasn't great, and it might be time to get a refresher.
Which end do you feel yourself on when you're pricing a house? Are you in the lower end, the higher end?
A lot of times, if I lose it, it's because it's too low.
Okay.
And which also might be another agent just buying the listing in a sense of giving them a higher price.
Yeah.
But I followed it out, and they listed it for the price, a higher price, and it sold for that. So I've been clearly wrong a couple of times. It's like anything else. This is the basics, and I just want to stay in the basics.
Doesn't that hurt?
Oh, a lot. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I had one about a year ago that I felt the property was a $500,000 property. To this day, I feel it's it was almost a tear down on a beautiful lot.
Yeah.
And they sold it for 7.25 with someone else.
Yeah, but being wrong last year is different from being wrong now.
Yeah.
Being wrong last year means you are reasonable.
That's a really good point.
You're a reasonable person in an unreasonable market.
Yeah, well, that's a very good way to put it. What are you finding right now when you're going on CMAs? I mean, just conversations with the clientele. What is their mental process?
My listing appointments are in a wait and see mode. They're kind of tentative because they've heard that the market is crashing, and it's not crashing, it's just not appreciating at a breakneck pace, and they want to know what that means to them. I think people are getting a lot of information from different sides and a lot of conflicting information.
Absolutely.
That's one of the reasons I listen to you, is because I know that you follow the market so well. So again, I'm just here to learn.
Well, absolutely. Well, one of the things that I do, and with the CMA, I think it's so important right from the get-go and right from the start, the communication you have with the client. And one of the things that I put in, and this is, I just put in a link for our listing lead sheet. And after looking at it, it is really ugly, but it's been around since 2008. And this is what I would have, this sheet of paper. You can open it up, Robert. Brian, you can too, if it allows you to. It's in the chat.
Yep, I have it open now. It's very yellow.
Yeah, so I had it bright yellow. And the reason for that is when I was sitting at my desk or sitting at my home office and someone called, I didn't want to be looking for the piece of paper of my script.
Oh, you're so darn smart.
So this is, I've used this a ton of times. And it's all about asking questions, right? Great leaders, great people ask a lot of questions, and then they listen. Because if you listen long enough, people tell you the story. And so this is the lead sheet. So anytime I received a phone call, I wanted to build rapport, ask a whole bunch of questions. So what I did was I went through here, and Robert, can you and I just do a script?
I'd be honored.
Well, why are you moving?
Well, my youngest son graduated from high school, and we no longer need to be in this town. And I think there's other areas that would suit our needs more.
Well, do you know where you're going to move to?
It's up in the air at this point. I'm either going to be a country mouse or a city mouse, and I haven't decided that yet. So either way out in the country, away from everyone, or smack in the middle of everyone.
Which way are you leaning to, do you think? If you could, if you'd prefer, which would you rather be out in the country or in the city?
Probably out in the country.
Out in
Yeah.
the country?
Yeah. I can always visit people, but can't always make them go away.
That is a very good point. Are you working with someone right now, like to find that property in the country?
No, I'm not yet.
Okay,
We haven't put a whole lot of thought into this quite yet.
yeah, so this is just a starting process.
Yeah.
So do you have a time frame? So it sounds like school's out, or so you don't have the school time frame, but do you have, was this something like before the snow flies, before the snow melts?
My youngest graduates this coming spring.
Okay,
We're just trying to get started early. You know, time is our friend, and we want as much time as we can to get ready for this.
absolutely. And when you say get ready for this, would you like to have like a graduation party out in the country? Or are you thinking about having that at your home and then moving from there?
You know what? The country sounds nice, but I'd probably have it here because all his friends are here.
Yeah,
And a lot of concurrent parties going on. They all visit each other's. So it probably need to be here.
absolutely. Okay, so you're looking at sometime June 2023 after there.
Yeah.
All right, well, that sounds good. Now you're gonna stay local, right? In the area? You're not gonna relocate for like job or anything like that, or have a relocation party?
No, although the kids will be graduating, they're all going to be local, and therefore I will be local.
Okay, so we're gonna stay in the area. All right.
Jared, this exchange is actually more real than you realize. So go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could keep on going through the whole thing, but like, I ask if they want to go for sale by owner.
You know, I haven't really thought about it. I mean, maybe. I mean, I could probably get more for my house if I sold it myself, right?
Potentially you could, and that's one of the things that we'll go over when I come out and go through the whole process and stuff.
Oh,
Like,
excellent.
it's just different hurdles.
Yeah.
That whole realm. So
Just pick your challenge.
absolutely, yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
And then I have in here the disc personality. So, and I do that because a lot of times we had staff, and I wanted to know if they're dealing with a D, I, S, or C.
Sure. What are you getting from me?
You know what, you mirror and match so well that you're really good at it. So you're that unique unicorn, and it depends on the other person on the phone because you want to make them feel comfortable. So you just mirror and match them.
Actually, I feel like I'm being pretty authentic here. I'm not even looking at you. I'm actually looking at your sheet as you're going through this.
Yeah.
But I'm in the realm of a DI. I'm in there. I tend to lead with my eye, actually.
For sure. Yes, you do. So, but with that, so that would have been, I would have circled that, and then my staff, or it would be just a nice reminder because this is going to be a long haul from the 23rd. And as you can see, I don't care when you sell your house.
Sure.
If that's, I'm not rushing you. I'm not that. I'm going to give you information when we get together. But that's another thing too. Like some people, they just need a deal.
Sure.
So they're like, hey, let's get it on the market now. The market's going to crash. Da 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 da.
Yeah,
I generate every day. Don't matter.
Yeah, I don't feel rushed at all in this line of questioning. There's nothing in here that's kind of trying to peg somebody into a timeline.
And I go now. We don't have to go through this, but tell me a little about your house. Da 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 da. How many years have you owned your house?
3.
Have you done any updates on it?
Not at all. This house, the point of this house was to get my kids through high school.
Oh, well, and it sounds like that's going to happen here in the spring coming up.
Correct. Yeah.
Do you have a pool?
I do not. I do have bathtubs, which are terrible for swimming.
It does. Yeah.
You hit your head a lot.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate your house?
Oh, this place is probably a strong 6.
Strong 6.
Strong 6, week 7. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what would actually make it a 10? What would we need to do?
Make the kitchen about twice as large. Probably a new exterior, truth be told. Yeah.
Okay. So here I'd spend a lot of time and I really drill down because I'm letting you beat yourself up on price.
Sure.
So I don't have to.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. And then how much do you think it's worth?
oh, this place is easily worth $1 billion. The neighbor down the street sold for $1 million. I think I could get $1 billion.
You think you could get $1 billion? And
Yeah,
you
probably.
think you would realistically sell for that?
You know what? If it depends. If I just keep it on the market long enough, yeah, probably.
Okay. Was that bringing it up to a 10 or just leaving it in the condition that it is right now?
Oh no, that's probably bringing it up to a 10 in its current condition. It'd probably sell for around 350.
Okay. Excellent. Do you have a first mortgage on the home?
I
And
do.
so I would go through and I'd ask all the financial questions.
Sure.
Do you own any other real estate?
No.
We're gonna have to work on that. And then I would ask, how did you hear about us? And what are the 3 things you expect from a realtor?
Communication, timeliness, and expertise. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Robert, for that information. Would I be able to come out? What I'd like to do is check out your house, go through it with you and get some more information. And then what happens, actually, I come back to my office and I'll do some work on it, create a marketing plan and go through and create a current market analysis on your home as well. And that'll take me a couple days. But first, can I come out and just check it out? Would Tuesday at 2 o'clock be great? Or would Wednesday at 1 be better?
Tuesday sounds great. We'd love to have you.
Excellent. Boom. And then see you bye. On that. So that is the script that I would go through and I would ask every question that I possibly could on there. And if I didn't, I would seem like burnt every time if I missed a step.
Okay, so one of my questions for you, because there is a limiting belief that I kind of felt in you going through this. Are you thinking about selling your home as a FSBO? Have you ever had that blow up in your face asking that question?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I've had good dialogue because of it.
Excellent. And then there was another question I think that was in here. Are you setting other appointments with who and when? Do you ask that question every time?
Every single time.
Every single time. And
yes.
Has that ever blown up in your face?
Very rarely.
Very rarely. Okay.
Yeah. So I was different than everyone else. I always want to be the last person in.
Sure.
And the reason for that is let someone else get answered all the dumb questions before I get there. It makes my presentation much shorter.
So when this blew up in your face, was it because they hired someone on the spot and then canceled with you?
Correct.
Okay. Got it.
But that would be such a small percentage.
Right. We're talking about volume here. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be such a small person. Funny enough, so I had one gentleman that had a house and I wanted to be the last one in. And he hired someone else before I got there. He went and sold that house, bought another one in Hudson. Lived there for about 4 years, called me up and asked me to come out and do a CMA because he was selling his house.
Okay.
I said, be more than my pleasure to. I said I needed to be the last one there, just like the last time.
Sure.
Went to his house and he had an appointment right after me. I wasn't the last one. I left. I said, I'm sorry. I want to be the last agent that you speak to. And that's just kind of how we've already gone through this.
Right.
So I'm like, you're meeting her at noon. I will come back at 1 o'clock. They're like, nope, we got plans the rest of the day. I'm like, well, there we go. If you want to hear what I have to say, da, 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 da. So I left. They called me a week later. Okay, and now I'm the last one. They actually listed with me. After I left the table. That guy was an interesting cat, though.
Of course he was. But, I mean, did it ever dawn on him the actual integrity of that exchange where you said you wanted to be last and when you found out you weren't, you said no? Like that's a really killer story.
Well, it's an odd story because I felt odd even just walking out of the house. And it's a story because I got the listing. If I didn't get the listing, I'd say that's the dumbest thing I ever did in my entire life. But that is just kind of how we ran our business.
Right.
On that. And the reason why I go through these questions with a CMA class is because if you don't build rapport and show off a system right from the get-go, even if your prices are off, if they don't trust you, they're done.
Right. Right.
And so I believe in doing all the work in the front end.
Sure.
And that's, you know, that's the bit of it.
Well,
So
thank you for that.
after this, I would follow up with a thank you email and also a note on, you know, Google Calendar reminder. But then I'd give them homework to have stuff filled out before I got there.
Sure. That's kind of an assumed yes when you show up and it's done.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's good
So
sales.
like they had a, and this wasn't for the, so I always did a two-step.
Okay.
So this wasn't the first was a thank you email, and then it was a calendar invite. Then I'd show up and I'd measure everything and ask a whole bunch of questions and tell them how great it was to sell their home. And then I'd leave.
Okay. So you're doing a two-step. See, I've always done a one-step.
Okay.
And in the one step, I've always felt like it was very sales driven. And I think it needed to be because it's a one step, you're there once. It sounds like with the two step, you actually get trust. And I get it eventually, but I think you're just taking, I think you're doing a better job of it from the sounds of it. I like how that sounds.
Well, and you got to do what works for you too.
Sure. Well, I can always improve though. So
yeah. So my process was I was thinking I'm gonna make 15, 20 grand here.
yeah,
Or 10 grand.
sure.
I can do a two-step. And typically the people that I was going against, they weren't.
Sure.
And so yeah, so I would go out, and then the next thing, and you've seen this next one I'm going to show you.
Okay.
If it lets me drop it in here. So I already go out to the house, and really all I do is fill out the MLS sheet. And then I leave. And then before I come back my third time, then I do I sent an attachment. Hi, Brian. I sent an attachment in the chat, and all what it is this is Diana Kokoska's.
Yeah, I recognize it. Yeah.
The questionnaire again. And every time I present this in the class, people look at it and like, well, crying out loud, you're asking the same questions that you did before. Yep. I'm drilling down.
Yeah.
That might have been 3-4 days ago, but a lot of times when people hear it themselves or hear themselves say it, it means a lot more.
This also protects your time.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Nice.
those are the two things that I went through in that MLS sheet, and then I went and did a CMA. So once I went through this, then I went to the house and I did a CMA on the property. Would you rather see me do a CMA or how to deliver a CMA?
We can take some advice we can get an answer from somebody else on the call here, but whatever you want to do, I'm willing to listen because this is just amazing.
Brian, would you like to see how I went through a CMA or how I created one?
I guess, well, how are you creating it? Are you doing it straight off of the MLS or are you using some of the other tools?
Nope, MLS.
Are you using the CMA that MLS provides?
Yep.
I would kind of like to see that, honestly.
All right, let's do it. Here, I'm going to send you a copy of it, kind of what it would look like. Now, I'm a Wisconsin guy, so this is going to be a Wisconsin property. Let me pull this up. I'm going to share my screen here. All right. Is everyone looking at a current market analysis?
Diane,
All right, so this is just using the CMA that's provided by the MLS. And when I go through here, this is, I want to make sure that everything's accurate. All the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, and all of that. Because if I make a mistake in this, they're going to think I made a mistake on the pricing of the house. So as I go through, I'm always asking them, is this accurate? Is this correct? And I'll show you when I do this. So, all right, let's go through here. This was done way back in the day for Brian and Amy Miller. So we have the cover page there. So Brian and Amy, I want to go through and tell you a little bit what's going on in the market today. And this doesn't fit really well. Let me change this. All right, so this is what's going on. Like when you watch the news and everything, it's telling you what's going on in the whole Twin Cities area. What I want to do is get specific to your area, where you live, the school district that your kids go to. And as you can see right now in Hudson, these are traditional properties that are for sale that we'll be looking at that are previously owned. So we're not looking at new, we're not looking at short sales or anything like that. We're looking at a price point from 319,000 and up, single family homes with between 2,000 and 2,500 square feet. These are homes just like yours in Hudson. And as you can see, 3 years ago, we had 31 homes on the market. 2 years ago, we had 20 homes on the market, and today we have 46. So actually, our inventory is up right now compared to where we were 3 years ago, or even especially last year. Now, I grabbed an old property, you guys. I have a new modern one, but I just grabbed this one kind of by mistake, but it has the same stuff in it. This right here, it's kind of interesting. Inventory is going up right now in our area. I mean, in the whole market, like it is back in 2017 to 2018, which is kind of interesting. Also, I want to show you, how much prices are rising. 3 years ago, using that same criteria, we had 337 for an average sales price. A year ago, it went up a little bit to 340. Right now, we jumped to around $379,000 with your criteria. Also, price per square foot, as you can see, that's been going up as well. And today we're right at $167 a square foot for homes like yours. Typically, I don't know if you guys find this, if I do really good on my comps, I'm really close to that price per square foot from this to the back end. Also, I want you guys to go ahead and see, the average number of showings to pendings have really gone down. Right now, it's 14 showings before you get an accepted offer. Really, right now, we should be somewhere between 7 or 8 on that as well. If we have 7 or 8 showings on your home and we don't have an accepted offer or like really strong interest, we're probably going to have to look at reducing the price on that realm. What did you look at? That was the market that's really a lot like your house and gives you the numbers, but this is actually all the properties that are on the market for the last 180 days. And as you can see, we have 10 properties that are active as of today. That'll be our competition. 2 of them have offers on them right now that they're working out the details. So that really leaves us 8, 1 pending. And as you can see in the last 6 months, we are looking at 6 sold properties. So we're only averaging 1 sold property a month in our price point from 400 to 450 in Hudson. Does that surprise you? I show them the map. One of the reasons why I always show them the map is because I haven't been in all of the homes. And when they ask me where the home is located, I just refer back to the map and point. All right, then I show off the comps. Now, this is what I do like for the Millers is I go through every single line item. You have 4 bedrooms, you have 4 baths. You have 2,500 square feet, 5-car garage. And I make sure that it's all correct before I move on to the next column. Because if they see that I did something incorrectly here, and then I just move on to this property, they'll look at that, and then they'll think that the whole current market analysis is off. So then I just compare. Show off the pictures of the property. One of the things that I do, like this house compared to the Miller's home, had, more stonework. Not that this is a lot, but it's more stonework than what they had in their house. And the finishing was a little bit better as well. Not much, but I just kind of wanted to show them that so that they mentally say to themselves that they're, oh, we don't have that in our house. They don't have to tell me that. I'm just going to show it to them. So, and I do this at the table. We'll go through this property as well, point out anything that, this house may have that theirs doesn't, or vice versa. Then I run through these comps just like I would the others. That one didn't have photos. This one did. Another thing too, when I point out the photos, now this isn't a very good example because of all the photos they have in their house. But if it's staged really well, I tell them this is what their house needs to look like in order to get top dollar. So the pictures do the work. Now this is rare that I have more than 4 comps. This individual is he's an IT guy and investigates everything. So I put in a little bit more detail in here than I normally would. Usually I only have 4 comps. But for Mr. Miller, he was able to receive a couple more. And again, I'm showing pros and cons of what these homes have compared to his as we go through. When we're all done with this, I show off how good of comps we have. And I do that by, all right, so you have 4 bedrooms, 4 baths on average on the active listings with 3.5 to 3, but they have a little bit more finished square feet to what we have. They're running around $168 a square foot, built in 2014, a little bit newer. If we look at our sold properties, 4 bedrooms, over 3 baths, little bit more finished square feet at 170 in but the same year. Then I go through and I'll talk about how good these comps are and how close they are and how glad I am that I found comps that are so much like theirs. And then I'm like, well, this is what it's saying that your house should sell for, is right around there. And then I ask them, what do you think it should sell for? And you know what they asked me?
What's that?
Well, that's why we have you out here, Jared, so you can go ahead and tell us. And I'm like, yeah, I realize that, and all my numbers are on the next page. I'm just curious on how you're reading the market and see if it's the same as and if I did a good job presenting it. And I really don't leave the page until they give me a number. And so then they give me a number. And then I go to my seller's estimated expense.
Oh, sure.
And so let's say if, they went, like looking at this, this is a 2,800 square foot house to 25. It's close, but this is a 250 house. It's a 450 house. I'm using bracketing on this. And then I'm like, if they said 450, I'd be like, you know what? I think 450 is the number as well. I wanted to be really, conservative with my numbers. So that's why I put 440 here, because I just don't want to go ahead and, anything above that's going to be great. And then I just break down how much it costs to sell the home.
Sure. So once, one of the things you're doing there is, if you guys line up on your opinion, you're equating that to agreement on selling.
Yes.
Excellent. I like that.
See, Jared,
Yes.
I've used this CMA many times over the years and maybe been too long because I'm seeing pages in here that I don't have in mind. For getting the data for the showings to sales that you had in your graph initially, is that just a page that you select now in the CMA process? That it just automatically imports in now?
This one?
No, that wants to for.
Oh,
You have the bar graph showing what's happened year over year.
so what I do is I pull that from the MLS and I print it out. Same thing with this. I'll do a different search on the MLS and I'll print it out
Okay,
with those.
right there.
'Cause
Yeah.
I'll only, well, other than COVID, I'm always doing it face to face with them.
Yeah.
And so here as well, once we agreed upon the price and I'll get to the page. Once we agreed upon the price, so we get to here. And then I simply, and I've asked enough questions through all my questionnaires. I know when they want to be on the market. So in Robert, and like our original, if we were going to go on the market in June, I would never do all this. They would get about 3 comps of properties that were more higher than this, and it would be very general.
Sure.
You know, your house right now is worth about anywhere from 440 to 470-ish.
Yeah.
And we'll see what the market says. Because if I give them a low number, they'll shop it in 2 months and it'll be higher.
Right.
So once we get an agreement here, then it's simply, all right, now you stated before you'd like to go on the market, you know, September 1st. Is that still the case? And I'd write September 1st down there. And they'd say yes. I'm like, okay, excellent. So we go on the market September 1st at this price. And I'll circle that. And then I do our performance guarantee. This performance guarantee, all what this is, it just makes it a day-by-day contract. So I just say if anytime you're not happy the way I'm handling anything, or I'm servicing something incorrectly, or I'm not doing what I said I can do, you can cancel this anytime, no questions asked. It doesn't cost you anything. It truly makes it a day-by-day contract. And then I sign it. Of course, this says buyer's agent, so that's really professional. Should say listing agent. I sign it, and then they sign it. And then we start signing paperwork.
So you have this page because this page is the easiest one to sign,
Correct.
and it gets them signing.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, I see Lisa Sorvig is on too. Now, Lisa's seen me do this about 50 times, I bet.
I have, yes.
So, which is kind of fun. But yeah, that is that's the process on it.
Very cool.
Yeah. Questions, thoughts, concerns?
Done. That was really awesome.
Brian?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Lisa Sorvig, thank you for taking care of me. I was gone last week and Lisa took care of me on some events. So I appreciate you.
My pleasure. I've got COVID right now, so I'm a little under the weather. So that's why my camera is turned off.
Do
Yeah.
we need to find a golfing buddy for Thursday?
No, nope, I'm good. I'm like on day 4. I'm day 4 and I feel fine. I just don't sound very good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm
All right.
good. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, if
Sure.
you need anything, let me know because I owe you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Yeah. All right, you guys, that's it. Let's go lead generate, get some listings.
Thank you very much, Jared. Really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for everything you do.
Yep.
Thanks, Jared.
Bye-bye.
Bye.